Hi friends! So now that you have completed your draft, you are happy with your draft, you've gone through all the steps of the process, you've done peer review, you've received feedback from 2 peers, you've applied that feedback, been reflective in your process, and you are completely happy with your final draft and you are ready to submit. You have one more step, and that's the self-evaluation and the reflection. So I want to walk you through what this form looks like, how to fill it out, etc. before you submit your final draft to turnitin.com. Remember that work has to be submitted on turnitin.com in order to be considered for scoring. So please keep that in mind. Must submit on turnitin.com. All right, so I'm going to start with this chart up here. I'm going to say what piece it is that I'm choosing to emulate. So for example, maybe for my draft, I've chosen fish cheeks. So I'm going to say that. And then it says, what elements of style from that piece can I expect to see in your writing? So this is where you'll tell me what you specifically took from that writing. So I might say vivid imagery. I started with moving us to the past and then ended with a reflection. Maybe I used her style of very short paragraphs. Perhaps those are the 3 things that I pulled from that piece that I was going to be sure that in my own essay, those were the elements of style that I emulated from Amy Tan's piece, Fish Cheeks. So my first step, fill out that table. Then I'm going to go into the self-evaluation directions. So step 1 is to highlight each area of the rubric that you feel best corresponds with your proficiency level. Be sure to be critical and thoughtful. So I might have my essay open in another tab so that I'm able to go back and forth and really assess my own work. So I'm going to start with the narrative focus and point of view, tone, emulation, read through, be sure I understand what the bands of the rubric are saying, and then perhaps I say, I think I'm okay. I'm okay there. I think this most closely represents where I am. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this. You can either highlight it by using the highlight function up here. That's a choice you have. Alternatively, perhaps you want to highlight it by just clicking on that box. And then if you go into more, this little thing that looks like a bucket of paint, that will adjust the whole background color. Maybe I want to highlight it that way. Whatever works. Either one works for me as long as it's highlighted and I can see where it is that you are saying you are in your proficiency level. Once you've gone through and you've highlighted the areas of the rubric that most correspond to your proficiency level, you're going to go back in and tell me why. So in this box here, give me a justification. So maybe I say that I did a decent job with my style elements. I feel like I maintained focus on that narrative event, and it had thoughtful characters. I introduced 3 different characters and developed them. So I'm using my own words. I'm not just copy and pasting what it says in the rubric band. I'm really thinking, well, what did I do? How can I show that this is where I am in that band of the rubric? So I'm going to go through and do that for all of these different pieces of the rubric. That's my next step. Finally, I'm going to complete the reflection below. These reflections are incredibly important. We use these reflections to think about how we can adjust units in the future. What worked for students? What didn't work for students? What areas are still left unclear that maybe we need to hit in more detail in the future? So I'm going to ask that you please type in the yellow boxes. Let me know, what was your favorite part of this unit and why? What was your least favorite part of this unit and why? And if there's anything that I can do to further support you in this class. I'm the only one who's going to be reading those reflections, so keep that in mind. But please be thoughtful in these responses. This unit started way back with that Why I Write piece and moved forward from there. So we've been doing this unit for, 5 weeks now. Really, I guess 4, because that first week of school was just introductory stuff and all that jazz. So think back to the last 4 weeks. What was your favorite thing and why? What was the thing you maybe didn't jazz so well with and why? And then if there's anything I can do to further support you. And then you'll go ahead and hit Turn In, and then you can go to turnitin.com and submit your actual work. All right. Thanks, friends.